Well, hello and welcome everyone to our Falcon Live chat titled Living at Bentley. Today we'll be sharing information regarding what's it like to live on campus. My name is Kenny Allard. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the Assistant Director of Orientation and Student Onboarding here at Bentley, and we are so excited to have you all here today. In addition, we are joined by our Housing Center who will do intros in just a couple of seconds. But just to give you some more context throughout the presentation today, you are welcome to submit questions using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screens. We'll cover approximately 15 to 20 minutes of content, and then we'll open it up to questions. We are recording this session, so you'll be able to access this presentation at a later date. But please know if you are watching this as a recording, please email us directly with any questions. Lastly, please note if there are any questions that we are unable to answer today, please reach out to us via email and we'll get those to you as well. So I'm going to pass it over to Justin and his team to do introductions and to kick us off today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kenny. It's great to see everybody this afternoon. We really appreciate you carving out some time to join us over your lunch hour. We've got a short, maybe 14, 15 slides. And then we, like Kenny said, we'll turn it over to questions. We know the housing application, the housing contract is live right now. So we want to certainly hear from you if there are things that we can clarify. But to kick things off, my name's Justin Woodard. I'm the director of the Residential Center. And again, really excited that you are joining us today. I'll pass it over to Sabrina.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sabrina Cruz. I'm one of the associate directors here at the Residential Center, and I specifically also work with our Defined Community program.
Oh, there we go. Or I was having trouble unmuting. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff Funk. I'm the other associate director in the Residential Center, and I work specifically with housing assignment processes.
Awesome. All right. So let's get us rolling here. All right. So just a few topic areas that we'll cover today. So like Kenny said, we'll talk about what it really looks like to live on campus. We'll talk about some of our staff support structures, which we're really proud of. We've got a great number of student leader positions on campus that are specifically designed to assist first-year or incoming students in transitioning to Bentley. We'll talk about some of the styles of housing, housing selection and assignments, meal plans, and like I said, we'll certainly make sure there's plenty of time for you to get any questions answered that you may have. So living on campus, we strive to create a safe, civil, and inclusive community for all community members. We develop our communities to have a purpose and to be open and just. Every individual on our campus is an important participant in helping our community develop to its highest potential. I think Bentley is really, one of those unique institutions where the majority of our students do live on campus. That really helps create a vibrant campus community. And so we're really, again, excited you're joining us, excited that you'll see some photos from here from our last move-in day from last year, an exciting time. I know the weeks are ticking away. We hope you're enjoying your summer. But this is always a really fun day for us, welcoming all the new community members to Bentley. Some pieces in terms of what differentiates living on campus from living off campus. So through the work that we'll talk about with our resident assistants, our residence directors, our community engagement programming, we really see living on campus benefiting you in three really distinct ways. One is that by living here, interacting and living with other humans, finding yourself, your values, your beliefs, that living on campus really helps you define a stronger sense of who you are. I think many students will come here straight from high school looking to, continue being exactly who they are. And there are some others that, you may be looking for a new start. Our hope is to really help you explore that. We know you're learning a ton in the classroom, but that may be only 10 to 12 hours in the classroom a week. We think that a lot of the other life learning happens certainly outside of the classroom as well. Our second piece that we feel as a result of living on campus, you get the benefit of building connections. And so that in our hope for you is building connections with peers, with upper class mentors, but also with faculty and with staff. Again, we're a smaller private institution, which I think puts us at a really great sweet spot where you know, you're not just a number to us, you're an actual student. We remember you. You will pass people on campus who remember your name. And that's important to us. So over the course of your time at Bentley, we want to ensure that you have people in your life, friends, mentors, relationships that are really going to carry you far beyond Bentley and your time with us. And then the last piece kind of connected to that is belonging to a community. So Bentley is, like I said, a wonderful place. Our expectation and really plan for those students who choose to live on campus is really to embolden you to take a sense of pride in Bentley. We want you to be the type of person who graduates and wants to come back, because they had a great time in their first year residence hall, or they really connected with their RA, or you know, somebody on campus really inspired you to get more involved, or may have shed light on an entire career path that you had never thought of before. So those are really the central elements that we feel living on campus can really help situate and set you up for success in your first year with us. I'll talk briefly a little, like I said, about staff support. So we have just about 8 residence directors. Those are full-time professional staff members who oversee the day-to-day operations of all of our halls. So they, you know, run everything from if there may be a conflict with your roommate, they can assist with that. If there may be a facilities issue in the building, they can help with that. They are there, they actually live amongst you all in the buildings to help supervise the RAs and then to provide some after hours and over the weekend support. We also have assistant directors. This is a higher tier. They supervise all of our residence directors, and this group of folks also lives on campus and serves in some on-call after hours response formats. And then we have our RAs. Those are likely the people that you will all interact with most frequently. Those are student staff members, typically sophomores on up, who, again, you know, found a connection with our department or had a good connection with their RA, are really looking forward to giving back. And so I think a key factor in your success as an incoming student is connect with them when you get here. They, you know, put themselves in this role because they want to help you. They want you to be successful. They are there really living amongst you 24/7 to be able to ensure that you've got somebody on your floor in your community who's a peer, who understands academics, but also understands the living on campus pieces that we know are really important. They additionally serve on duty each night, shorter times Sunday through Thursday, and then a little longer into the later or earlier morning on Fridays and Saturdays. I discussed we have an administrator on duty. That's one of our RDs. There is an administrator on duty 365 days a year. So there's always a staff member on duty when the university is closed, after hours, over the weekend, that can actively respond on scene to emergencies or crises that may occur. Again, they're not doing this every waking hour, but we certainly know that in many senses, we run a small town on campus. And so anything can happen, and we want to ensure or we are well aware of life and what happens to you is more than just what's happening between 8 and 5. So we'll really ensure that we have student staff as well as professional staff who are available to you after hours in case you need anything. And then our university police is probably one of our biggest partners. Their team, similar to ours, is on every day of the year. At any point, you are able to reach out to them, to connect with them if you need anything, or to gain assistance in contacting our administrator on duty. We have a pretty strong blue light system, so your ability to call, you can do so from your cell phone, but if you've forgotten that, there are call boxes all across campus. Typically, you should be able to see one from wherever you're standing. And then our friend Blue there, who's eating his birthday cake. Blue works in our university police department as an emotional support animal, and so often roams campus with his handler to interact with students. If you go down to the police, it doesn't have to be for something serious. You can ask to see Blue, and if he's there, he'd love to see you. He's been a really great addition to our community, so much so that we celebrated his birthday. I think this is a picture from last year. A little bit more about our RAs. So this is actually an RA that graduated a few years back. RAs play a critical role in building community within the residence halls, aiding in the transition to college and helping connect residents to campus resources. Not only are these students providing valuable service to their community, they serve on duty each night to ensure student safety and well-being. So again, we take a lot of pride in our staff. They go through a lot of training to be able to support you. For those that are coming in, we strongly encourage, if you're interested in assuming a position like this at some point in your Bentley career, connect again with your RA when you get here, connect with your building's residence director. Those are really important relationships to make early, whether you're interested in a role like this, or again, just trying to make connections and having people, you know, within your own building that could assist you if a situation arose. So this is just some student feedback we collect each year in terms of my RA assists me most with. We're actually really pleased with some of the data we got in some of our survey data from last year. This really showcases, I think, that students utilize their RA for a variety of reasons. There's not just particularly one. So you'll see, you know, roommate concerns. It's not just that you're going to your RA for. Academic support, personal concerns, navigating campus resources. These are all things that students have actively said. This is really, you know, having an RA this close to me is really helpful. Also, for those of you who are thinking about roommates, I think another great stat we have here, if you have not found somebody that you are looking to live directly with, we, you know, want you to know you are not alone. The majority of students who come into Bentley do not come in with a requested roommate. Well, you're certainly welcome to request someone. We've got 87% of students who are paired with a roommate they didn't know were successful in their living environment. Sometimes we see that two people get along and become really close friends, or you may just find somebody that's a really great roommate. You may not be in the same social circles, and those situations work really well too. And in those rare circumstances where things don't work out, again, all of those resources, your RA, your residence director, those are the people there that are happy to help you through those situations. Now I'll turn it over to Sabrina to talk a little bit about what's actually inside our first year residence halls.
All right, so for our first year students that are coming, you know, starting here in Bentley in August, this is kind of the 3 buildings that your students or students on this call will be on. So, or be in rather. So we have Slade Hall, Miller Hall, and the Trees Complex. The Trees is going to house most of kind of the first year class, as it is the largest, and then Miller and Slade kind of houses the other half of the class. Miller and Slade is also where the defined community programs are hosted, and I'll talk a little bit about that moving forward. But this is kind of generally what you should expect when you get here. Miller and Slade, or sorry, Trees and Slade being pretty close together to campus. They kind of share a parking lot, and then Miller being a little bit further up the road. In terms of what you could kind of expect in your spaces, so all of those buildings are going to be double and triple occupancy bedrooms. We do have some single rooms that are available, but it is pretty limited. So again, most of you will be in that double or triple occupancy. Each floor will kind of have a shared bathroom that students will be able to use and share, you know, with the students on their floor, gender kind of designated. So you'll have, if that bathroom is not on your particular floor, you'll be able to go across the hall, downstairs, you know, whatever makes sense for you to be able to utilize the restroom. And then each of these halls also has a common kitchen. So even though you all will have meal plans, let's say you wanted to, you know, make a meal with some friends, or you know, whatever, they can make a small snack, whatever the case is, you will have access to a common area kitchen. You'll have access to a laundry room in each of these buildings, as well as a lounge space. So obviously, you know, feel free to have your friends over in your room, but if you all wanted a bit of a bigger space, or if you wanted to, watch TV in some of those bigger spaces, we do have them available in each of the residence halls. So a good place to build community and meet other people around in the building as well. Moving forward and onto the next slide, a little bit of further information in regards to what the spaces kind of look like. So if you haven't already, we highly recommend you kind of look on our website, and you'll be able to see kind of these interactive walkthroughs that you could look through and be able to see, what is an example of what a first year bathroom looks like, and what's an example of a first year single, double, or triple room. What do they kind of look like? And so we have them, separate out there, so you can kind of take a look at what a Slater Miller room would look like, as well as trees, since there is slight differences, as well as a bathroom and a lounge. So please feel free to take a look at that, so you can get an idea again of what it looks like, and also get excited for what you'll be experiencing in a couple of months. So, and if you have any questions about anything that you kind of see on there, feel free to reach out as well. We'll have our contact information at the end. Moving on to the next slide, a little bit about our defined community program. So here at Bentley, we have now 7 defined community that students can apply to. So those are the arts community, the blueprint community, which is really focused on leadership development, the first gen community, which is focused on students who identify as the first in their family to get a higher education, our future entrepreneurs community, which is a new community coming up this fall, the Her Story community, which is women leaders of today, so our students who identify as women, wanting to be in a space with other women. Our honors first year experience, so this is for students who are enrolled in the university's honors program, an option for them. It is not mandatory for students who are in the who is an honors student to live there, but they can apply and get accepted, potentially get accepted if that's something that they would like. And then also our Thrive community, which is really focused on wellness, so different aspects of wellness, from your health, mental health, financial health, well-being, things of that nature. So those are kind of the 7 communities that students in their first year can apply to. Each of the communities are kind of separated by building, and so honors, Thrive, and Blueprint are all going to be located in Slade, and then arts, first gen, future entrepreneurs, and Her Story are going to be located in Miller. So students who do apply to those communities, you do have to submit an essay, and so the staff here will take a look at your application and let you know, hopefully by the first week of July, let you know whether you've been admitted to the community, and then you'll receive information in regard to your specific room later on in July, when everyone else kind of gets their communication. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to take a look at our website just to get an idea of what those communities kind of offer, and if that's something that you do want to experience in your first year. It could be a great way to know that you have kind of things in common with the people on your floor right away. Additionally, students who do participate in these communities, they do have a really great opportunity of moving in about two days earlier than the rest of the first year students, and kind of participating in community building and different activities to help you get acclimated to Bentley before you kind of go over on into the orientation program. So definitely a cool thing to check out. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me as well. And then just so to get you all excited for kind of what the first day rather will look like. So over on the left is an empty residence hall room. So that's what you'll kind of see when you enter that first day. And then hopefully within a couple hours, you'll get to that other right-hand pictures where everyone's kind of happy, smiling, and your room is set up and you're ready again to start some of the orientation pieces. And so just wanted to give you a little bit of a feel of what that first day will look like for you.
All right, wonderful. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the actual process for requesting housing and completing all of the forms that need to be required, and then what the process sort of looks like from there. So there are 2 required steps for all of our incoming students who have deposited as residents to get their housing. So the first step is to complete the housing contract. All of these steps are done completely online via our housing portal. which students received an email in the end of May with information about how to access that. And it is super easy to get to. It's bentley.edu/housing portal. So the first step is the contract, which is, are pretty lengthy, as most contracts are, right? All of the sort of terms of living on campus. We know it's long. It's not the most exciting read, but we do encourage students and their families to read through it thoroughly before signing it. It's got information about some important dates and, again, some different policies and aspects of living on campus. So for students who are 18 or above, they will be able to sign that digitally online. Students who are not yet 18 will be able to download a copy, have their parent or guardian sign it, and then they'll be able to email that to us so that we can get that uploaded and have them move on to the next step. So the next step after that is the housing application. So this is where students can tell us about their room style preferences, roommate preferences. So it will ask some basic questions, including what, if they prefer a single room, a double room, a triple room, or a quad room. They'll be able to list their 2 top preferences. So full transparency, we do our absolute best to accommodate as many of those preferences as possible. Typically, we do get more requests for single rooms, for example, than we actually have single rooms available. So not everybody will get their top choice, but we do usually get most people into one of those top 2 options. And what we always tell people, as I know Sabrina mentioned with the slides about the different housing options, is doubles are the most common. That is what most students will end up living in. Also in the housing application, students will answer some basic questions about just sort of some daily living habits. So what time they typically go to bed, what time they wake up, sort of what their study habits are in the space, because those are really, those sort of living lifestyle preferences are things that have been shown to make better roommate matches, right? Rather than like personality or hobby pieces. So those are the factors that we use when assigning people to roommates. As we mentioned earlier, if students have a specific other student that they want to live with, we have a process for that. They are welcome to request a specific roommate, but if they don't, the application is what gives us the ability to try to make the best possible matches that will result in sort of, living harmoniously throughout your first year. Because really, as much as it is lovely when people become, good friends with their roommate, the baseline for a successful experience is really being able to cohabitate and live together, even if you're not, best friends. It's really about that sort of living compatibility. So the optional steps are, Sabrina talked a lot about the defined communities. Students are able to indicate interest in those in the housing application. There will be a spot that if they say, yes, I'm interested, then there will be additional questions about which ones and uploading their application materials. So again, that's located within the housing application. The process for requesting a roommate is a little different. If you look at the little screenshot over on our right, so forms and applications is the menu where the contract and the application live. Within the room selection menu, there is a spot to request a roommate. Students will be able to look up their friend by name and request them. That friend then also needs to log in and request the other student. So we need it to be a mutual match. And again, as long as the request is mutual, we are almost always able to accommodate those. And we will work on those housing assignments, before then matching everyone else up. The other optional step is for students with a medical or religious need for a specific housing accommodation. They are able to request those. We have a form. So this form is not through the housing portal. This one is a form located on our website, which our website is bentley.edu/housing. And then students also in the emails that they got about the process and the reminder emails we've been sending do have information about accommodations. For those, students will submit the online form and will provide information about what accommodation they're requesting and why. For religious accommodations requests, it's just the self-statement from the student. For medical accommodation requests, we do also require students to attach a letter from a medical provider that details information about the request. More specifics about that are on our website, and you are gladly welcome to reach out if you have specific questions about those. All of these steps, every single one, the required ones and the optional ones, are due next Thursday, June 20th. That is really important. We need any students who want housing to complete them by that date. It is not first come, first serve. So doing it early is no extra benefit, but we do need to make sure that we have everyone's materials submitted by next Thursday, the 20th. Anyone who submits after that date, we can't guarantee that we will have space in housing. If you do it on time, we will absolutely be able to accommodate you. But again, so please make sure that you're submitting things or your student is submitting things on time. And then next slide, please. All right, and then a little bit of information about meal plans. So all first year students are required to be on our Block 304 meal plan, which includes a certain number of meal trades, which are the ability to use. All right, let me backtrack. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. So our main dining hall, which is the 921 dining hall, which is located in the student center, that's the main place that a lot of folks will eat their meals. So students get a certain number of swipes to enter there, and once you enter, it is all you can eat. We also have some other dining locations around campus that are a la carte, so you order by the item, and those are what students can use their discretionary funds for. So the Block 304 plan, I apologize, this slide still says that it's unlimited. It's not quite unlimited, but they do have enough swipes that students typically will not run out of them within a semester. They get 304 swipes into the dining hall per semester, 350 discretionary dollars that they can use at those a la carte locations, and then 5 meal trades per week, which is the ability to use a swipe at the a la carte options to get like a set meal. So you can get like, an entree item, a side item, a drink, and use a meal swipe instead of using those discretionary funds. So for a student's first year, they are required to be on this plan. As they move on into their sophomore year and beyond, there are additional meal plans that students can select from based on where they're living. But for the first year, this meal plan is universal and required.
All right, folks. So like we said, we wanted to be brief. We know we're mid-process right now, so wanted to tailor the end of our time together towards answering any specific questions you might have. You're welcome to use the Q&A feature. I know people have been doing that throughout. But feel free, if there are any, we'll hang on for a little while if there are more questions. But otherwise, there was a question in there about, next week, the application and contract are due as a roommate request, defined community interest, accommodation request. So really, after that point, we'll spend the better part of a few weeks working on doing assignments and placements and matching. So you can really expect to hear from us mid to late July with housing assignments. And when those go out, we'll have a full team here available to answer questions. So certainly know this is not the last time that you can ask. I'm seeing a couple questions where the laundry facilities in each hall. So typically those are on the ground floor, the ground level or basement area. So Trees has a, for the size of the building, a pretty substantial laundry room. It almost looks like a laundromat. It's so large. Miller and Slade also have laundry machines. They're all Bluetooth based. You sign up with an app and you can start the machine from your phone. You can track the machine's progress. That's a pretty nice setup as opposed to just using quarters. Let's see. Is the housing portal accessible via Bentley Connect. There may be a link to it there. But if you, like Jeff said, if you take a look at any of our emails that we've sent out, we've been linking the housing portal in all of those just to make it a little easier for you. If you've also sent our email account an email, you've got an automated response, and the housing portal's in there as well. Let's see. Jeff, do you want to do the meal plan piece again briefly?
Sure.
So what that looks like, late night options maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a variety of different campus dining locations. And I will be, transparent. Our office, while we do a little bit of administering of the actual meal plans, we don't oversee dining, but we work very closely with our partners in dining. And so there's our main dining hall, which serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I believe that closes around, I think, 8 p.m. Most days. And is open, continuously from breakfast through dinner. We do have a late night option also in the student center called Harry's, which serves some different late night options. And again, they sort of open when the main dining hall closes and are open much later in the evening. And then up near the academic buildings, we have the La Cava Cafe, which is a pretty sort of dynamic place that has a bunch of different stations where you can get sandwiches, salads, sushi, pizza, all sorts of things. And then down on our lower campus in the Dana Center, which is our athletic building, we have Corrido, which is sort of like a Chipotle, offering like burritos and rice bowls and things like that. Probably some other things I'm forgetting. Those are some of the big things. But yes, there are options for all different times of the day and for sort of all different appetites.
Thanks, Jeff. That's great. I know there are a couple questions in here about, is there a place we can share a preferred residence hall? We don't have a spot for that in the housing application, just because one of our buildings houses half the first year class. It's a bit difficult to take all preferences, but again, we can ensure that our sort of philosophy here is that we keep our first year students within those 3 first year buildings. Miller and Slade, we may have said this earlier, are fairly identical inside, and then Trees was one of our original buildings on campus, and has undergone a lot of upgrades and updates over the years. They've done laminate flooring in areas, they've fixed lighting, painting. The space looks really nice. I see a question here, any special facilities for athletes? So nothing specific in the residence halls, but the Dana Center down on our lower campus across the bridge. If you are an athlete, you'll be quite familiar with that space. That's sort of the hub of athletic activity. Some, depending upon the sport you play, some may have specific locker rooms or weight rooms for training. I know physical therapy and the sports medicine folks work out of there as well. So the Dana Center is typically a place you'll get to know really well. Let's see. As soon as we know our living assignment, so for closet dimensions, things like that. So Sabrina pointed out those virtual walkthroughs, they actually have a ruler feature in them where you can measure different parts of the room, and then we've actually gone ahead and there's a link to the desk, and it will tell you how large the desk is, how long or wide the closets are, the drawers. So take a look at that virtual walkthrough, and you should be able to see a lot of the specifics in there, because I know buying your personal organizers and plastic drawers and things can be made a little easier when you know what you're working with as far as dimensions. There's a, can we ship boxes to the buildings? So you can't ship them directly to the buildings. You can occasionally ship things directly to our mailroom, but we would suggest reaching out to them just to check in, especially if you're planning on sending those really early. They may not be expecting it. They also may not have a ton of space this early. So it would be helpful to check in with them just to make sure they're ready and able to receive anything that may be coming in.
And I see part of that question is what day is move-in,
Yeah.
which is calendar here. It is for the general new student population Thursday, August 29th. More information about specific timing will be sent out over the summer, but students should plan on that date. As Sabrina mentioned earlier, right, if you're living in a defined community, your move-in will be earlier. If you're part of the Mosaic program, your move-in will be earlier, but those are specific things to some specific programs, and information about that will be sent out as well.
Awesome. I think Jeff just covered this one, but as far as international students, there is an early arrival process for international students. So we'll again be sending more information out about that. And then folks should be likely hearing from our Center for International Students and Scholars. If you haven't already, you should be very shortly. They'll walk you through what that early move-in process will look like. So I don't see any questions in there at the moment, but we'll hang on another minute, see if anybody does have any. If you're wrapping up time and want to head out, you're welcome to do so. But again, we'll hang on for another minute or two here and see if any other questions come in.
Before we wrap up, I also just want to put in the chat for folks our new Falcon question form. So this is a great space for folks to ask questions regarding academics, finances, housing, our new student checklist questions, and any other questions that might arise. And when you submit your questions, that office will directly receive your question, and then they'll email your answer right back to you. So it's a great place to get all those questions answered that may be lingering from this or any other live chats that we host.
Yeah, it looks like maybe one more question came in about requesting a vehicle. So first-year students are not permitted to have cars on campus, but you can on our University Police website. They do have a form. So if you're a first-year student that may be working off campus or have a specific need to really have your car here, they would be the people to review and then approve or deny that request. So feel free to take a look. I think the form and the information is right on their website.
Move-in for folks that are a part of a community will be on Thursday, August 29th. Yes, exactly. Same day as orientation. Yep, move-in will be during the morning, and then there'll be a convocation in the afternoon, and we'll start our program.
Sure. In terms of, there's a question, can you describe the move-in process? So again, we will send out specifics about times over the summer, but basically, it's a well-coordinated effort that we've worked on perfecting for years. Because obviously, right, we've got about 1,000 incoming first-year students moving in, so it's a lot of folks. Obviously, some folks arrive on those earlier days. But we have a lot of traffic control going on for folks arriving in cars. We've got specific traffic patterns set up where we will have members of our team of University Police stationed around, greeting folks, directing them toward the buildings that they need to go to. When you arrive at the building, we'll have you pull into a designated spot, and you'll have a certain number of minutes to unload your car. We do hire movers to help carry belongings into the buildings so that students and their families aren't, carrying all of your possessions up the stairs yourselves. So we do have moving assistance for that. So you have a few minutes to unload your car, and then we do have you move your car so that other people can take that spot near the building. One person will have to relocate your car to a designated parking lot, while the rest of the folks in your group are heading up to the room to begin getting set up. And then you have a few hours to get settled in your room before, as Kenny mentioned, the start of orientation.
Another question in there about shipping stuff. So again, we suggest just checking in with the mailroom to make sure that they so you know what specific date they could accept things. It may be a little too early at this point, but they are fully staffed all summer. So feel free to reach out to them and double check either via phone or they're pretty responsive via email as well. Any last minute questions?
All right. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much to our housing center, Justin, Sabrina, and Jeff. This was wonderful. And thank you all who came. Oh, we have some questions. The recording will be uploaded tomorrow. And then how late will we leave on move-in day? So for orientation, there's a convocation, and then we do have a little farewell reception afterwards for folks. And then that is usually when we encourage families, friends, or whoever may be joining us for orientation to depart and say their goodbyes so their students can start orientation. But yeah, thank you all so much for attending, and we look forward to seeing you at our next live chat. Bye, everyone.
Oops.